Hi, my name is Craig Beck, otherwise known as the Stop Drinking Expert. Just jumping in here to make a really quick video today to talk about naltrexone as an alcohol medication. I was speaking to a lady last night in a coaching session called Leslie, and she said, just like me, she's ordered naltrexone from overseas to try it out for alcohol addiction. And she wanted to ask my opinion of that. And I know I've spoken about this previously, and it's a little bit of a controversial subject because naltrexone, Topamax, these sort of alcoholism drugs have their huge fan bases. And these people are very passionate about these drugs because for a lot of people, it's changed their lives and it's saved their lives. It's stopped them drinking. And so any sort of criticism at all normally gets quite aggressively attacked. But I want to give you my opinion under a very specific proviso, Leslie. I'm not a doctor, and I make that really, really clear all over my website and in all my videos. I am not here to give medical advice, and these videos, my website, my books, are not a replacement for professional medical assistance. So this is purely my opinion, and it is based, as everything that I talk about with alcohol, on my own experiences and what I went through. So, before we go any further, let me just remind you that the Quit Drinking boot camps are all scheduled in. We've got London coming up in January. We've got Nashville in February 2019, and we're looking at Toronto for March 2019. Go to the website right now and book your place because these things always sell out. www.stopdrinkingexpert.com. We're also looking to come to Las Vegas in 2019 and Sydney, Australia as well. But I will let you know when we have some dates set for those. So, naltrexone. Is it a wonder drug? Is it a miracle cure for alcohol addiction? And the answer is, well, from what I hear, for some people, yes. But for me, no. And let me explain why. For a start, I did something really dangerous. And it sounds like Leslie's also done this as well. Because no doctor would prescribe me naltrexone, the advice I got from my doctor when I finally plucked up the courage about my drinking was to cut down a bit. Yeah, really? It was absolute garbage. If I knew how to cut down a bit, doctor, I would have done it 5 years ago. So often, GPs don't give you the best advice because this is a real gray area. This whole alcohol thing is a gray area in so many aspects because alcohol is just a part of our world, isn't it? It's like everyone drinks. And so often doctors don't know what to suggest. And oftentimes the doctor you're talking to is drinking just as much as you are. So I couldn't get naltrexone on prescription, so I found a way of getting it on the internet. Now that's hugely dangerous right from the get-go because you don't even know if you're getting naltrexone or if it's been cut with something dangerous or if it's expired or it's not even anywhere near the drug that you thought you were getting. So it's a huge gamble. And there are loads of horror stories about people taking chemicals and poisons and things but through companies that have made these tablets in less than safe conditions. So that's the first problem. Now, I have a huge issue with taking a drug to fix a drug problem. It just doesn't make sense to me because I'm a logical thinker. I like logic. I like things that make sense to me. And the problem is that in the Western world, we live in this world where our doctors are trained by the pharmaceutical companies. And unless they can write a prescription for something, it doesn't get researched, it doesn't get funded, and it just doesn't get onto the radar of a lot of doctors. And taking drugs to fix a drug problem, it feels like you're just substituting a problem. Because as with all of these anti-alcohol drugs, you have to keep taking the medicine. If you stop taking the medicine, then your problem returns because you have failed to deal with the reasons why you drink. Now, let me give you a little bit of history of what I know about naltrexone. Naltrexone was not invented to deal with alcohol addiction. That was just a happy coincidence that it seemed to have an effect on that. It was actually created as an anti-opioid medicine for drug addicts. but they found it works with alcohol as well. What it does is it switches off your brain's ability to experience the kind of positive uplift of alcohol, the euphoria. So you take the tablet and you drink alcohol and you still get drunk and fall over and slur your words, but you get none of the positive benefits. You get none of the sensation of happiness or euphoria. So you feel miserable and drunk. And the theory is that eventually you just get bored of drinking because it has no benefit. It only has negative. And so eventually you just think, why am I doing this? I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's a great theory. And for some people it really works. But the problem I had is the side effects of naltrexone were horrendous for me. I felt sick, I felt dizzy, I had a headache, I had my heart pounding. I just felt horrible. Taking that tablet actually felt worse than a hangover. So we're already into a problematic area here, because now you have to force yourself to take a tablet that makes you feel terrible. And secondly, you have to force yourself to take a tablet that steals all the enjoyment out of your favorite thing, drinking alcohol. I mean, back when I was a problem drinker, I wouldn't even go to the movie theatre unless I could drink. I would sneak in a bottle of whiskey and I would mix it in with one of those big gulp colas, and I'd sit there watching the movie, drinking whiskey and Coke. That's the only way you could get me to go to the movies. If you then made me take a tablet that rendered that drug boring and had no uplift, then why would I do it? So the third problem that I had with any sort of drug, taking a drug to deal with a drug problem, is you have to remember or be willing to take the tablet. And I did well for a couple of weeks, and then I started giving myself the weekend off. I started, that stupid logic of, well, I've been really good this week and I've not had a drink for 5 days, so I'm going to treat myself. I'm not going to take the drug, I'm not going to take the medicine over the weekend and allow myself a few drinks. And then, I started saying to myself, well, the weekend really starts on a Friday, not a Saturday. So I won't take it on a Thursday just to make sure it's out of my system. And then I started saying, well, Monday's a tough day, isn't it? Because nobody likes Monday, and so I stopped taking it on a Monday. And eventually I got to the point where I was taking this drug on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I had perfectly logical reasons and justification in my own head for doing this. And slowly, you just get straight back into the loop that you started off in, and it's completely pointless and a waste of time. Now, there is a fourth problem in naltrexone, I'm afraid, Leslie. Naltrexone, I hear, and I remind you, I'm not a doctor or a pharmacist, is extremely damaging to your liver. And the reason why you shouldn't just buy it on the internet and you should get this prescribed through a doctor is that they need to check your liver function at least once a month. Because this is like life's little irony. Alcohol destroys your liver, and the tablet that people are touting as a solution to get you off alcohol also destroys your liver. So you're at risk of liver damage by taking this drug. And so I would encourage you to talk to your GP before you take it, and certainly to get your liver tested on a regular basis, because there may come a point where you have to stop taking it because it's doing too much damage. So that's kind of naltrexone. There are other drugs out there like antabuse, but my theory and my personal position on this remains the same no matter which drug you take. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it doesn't deal with the problem. It deals with the symptoms of the problem. And this is why AA doesn't work for most people. This is why 12-step programs don't work, because they don't actually address the erroneous beliefs you have around this drug. We spend years creating this belief structure that alcohol helps us deal with stress, gives us confidence, helps us go to sleep at night, helps us with this and that. And unless you dismantle that belief structure, then you're always going to struggle. You're always going to feel like you're missing out on something. And when you force yourself into a situation where you feel deprived, you're going to buckle eventually. It's why diets fail. because you go on a diet and then suddenly you have to go to a birthday party and everyone's eating cake and pizza and you feel like this sucks, my life sucks, everyone's having a great time apart from me. And we're just not designed, we're just not built to put up with that level of psychological pain, and so we buckle. And so for some people, I believe prescription medication can help, but not on its own. I think if you're going to take a prescription medication to help with your drinking, you also need to address your psychological addiction, your belief structure around this drug. And that's where my course helps. So some people take antabuse and naltrexone in the initial stages just so they can build up some momentum and really get into this sober life. But it is important that you go through the exact same process that somebody doing this without medication does as well. You have to change the way you feel, think, and believe about alcohol in the world and in your life. And if you want some more details on how my course does that, then go to the website right now, stopdrinkingexpert.com. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and share, and subscribe to the channel because it really, really helps me spread the message and get this out there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.